When one reaches a landmark age, in my case 50, it seems like a good idea to mark the occasion with a special activity. At this point in my life I have tried a few risky, high adrenaline events which are sometimes referred to as red letter days. I remember driving a racing car at Brands Hatch and a speedboat in the Solent as being two of my favourites. This time just had to be bigger and better. A flight over the Grand Canyon had been a wonderful experience, but my first flying lesson in the 1930s biplane seemed like the ultimate joyride. A mixture of fear and excitement gripped me the night before the flight, as my mind went into overdrive imagining all the potential dangers, then all the thrills of being up in the air. As the day dawned and the sky began to clear from the early morning fog, I waited anxiously just to get to the airfield. I knew that the Art Deco atmosphere of Shoreham Airport and the buzz of the airstrip would be the best place to be while I waited for the fun to begin. I was grateful for a warm welcome and the close attention to the fastenings of my safety harness as I eased myself into the cockpit of the Stamp. The plane looked beautiful, with the clean lines and shining fuselage giving me added confidence. My instructor also put me at ease as we taxied onto the grass, and the time for takeoff was only minutes away. Now there was no turning back. I breathed deeply as the engine's speed picked up and the tail lifted off the ground. Within seconds we had become airborne, and all my fears subsided as we banked eastward along the coast. A few minutes later we had climbed to over 1,000 feet, and I began to marvel at the views of the Downs to my left and the English Channel to my right. The rolling hills and the glistening sea competed for my attention, the one capped with billowing clouds, the others covered in thin wisps of fog. Ahead of me and behind me a narrow band of sunlit beach, like with Monopoly-sized buildings strewn along the edge. My first lesson was a simple one and quickly given. 3 dials, a joystick, rudder pedals, and a demonstration of the horizon in level flight were all I required to take the controls. Nervously I began to feel my way into being part of the machine. Even though the scenery was passing by, it felt as if I were trying to keep the plane stationary and not fall from the sky. Turning right and then left were exhilarating as the wings responded to my movements and dipped away, the earth below me sliding across my view. Relieved to be flying level again, my instructor directed me inland and asked me a very difficult question. Would I like to experience a loop up through the clouds ahead of us? I did not want to say yes, but I couldn't say no. I asked myself how I would feel when the flight was over if I had not experienced the excitement that I craved. I remembered all the positive words of those who had encouraged me before embarking on this venture. Putting all my trust in the reliability of the plane and the skill of the pilot, I consented. As I enjoyed the view of Brighton and Hove Albion's new stadium from the air, we swept upwards. As the engine slowed and we hung upside down, the view of the stadium was now above me. Downwards and faster we flew until levelling out and heading back west. My joy was complete, but more was in store. 2 more loops and rolls would follow, with my confidence high and the added thrill of my family watching below. It's natural to come away from such a day and enjoy sharing the experience with others. There are photographs to remind me of the beautiful sunshine, the elegant engineering of the plane, and the huge grin on my face when we landed. But I think there are more reasons to be thankful for this opportunity. Firstly, it gave me a challenge. I found it hard to overcome my fear and enjoy the excitement. I needed to acknowledge the danger, but look forward to the enjoyment. By expressing my feelings with those around me and relying on their goodwill, I was able to get into the cockpit. Secondly, I needed to put my trust in others. To me, it was an alien environment where many unseen dangers might be lurking. Was the aircraft well maintained? How good was the pilot? Would my experience be a positive one? Being told by the person before me that they had an excellent time and the obvious care taken by those involved was very reassuring. My trust grew minute by minute from the moment I arrived. Thirdly, and perhaps most importantly, it was a real tonic to see the world from a different perspective. Maybe not up to the view of Earth from a space station, but certainly a wider look at the beauty and magnificence of the wonderful world that we are privileged to live in. Surely this is all the evidence of the powerful and divine God that we need. 30 minutes, never to be forgotten.